Hi everyone, today I will present to you the article named Blockchain Using Proof of Interaction. This article was written by Quentin Bramas, Thomas Noël, and myself, Jean-Philippe Abeg. Um, this presentation will be in three parts. First, I will explain what is the blockchain and the proof of work. Then I will present the proof of interaction. And in the last part, I will show some possible future works and a conclusion. So, the blockchain, what is it? The blockchain is a distributed ledger technology presented in 2008 in the Bitcoin paper written by Satoshi Nakamoto. It's a ledger of transactions, and these transactions can be pretty much anything, any type of data. And these transactions are added in block. And each block has a dependency from the previous block. As you can see on the figure, the block 1 has the hash value of block 0, and block 2 has the hash value of block 1, and so on if we add blocks after this. So the pros of this technique is that if I change something, if I remove a transaction in block 0 for instance, it will change the hash value of this block, so it will also change the hash value of every block after. And this operation, this update of a transaction is impossible to do as long as a certain amount of nodes in the network remain honest. That's why we say that the data is immutable in the blockchain. And this network of nodes does not have a central authority. So the problem is who will add the next block, which node, will be selected as the leader. And this is the purpose of the consensus algorithm. And the proof of work is the consensus algorithm is in fact the first consensus algorithm for the blockchain, since it was also presented in the Bitcoin paper in 2008. This consensus is based on the DDoS protection technique called Hashcash. And the idea is quite easy. To be selected as the leader, to be allowed to add a new block, a node has to found a nonce, which nonce is just an integer. But this nonce has to give to the future block, the block that we want to add in the ledger, it has to give to this block a hash value under the difficulty. The difficulty is set by the network. Since hash values are unpredictable, there is just one strategy for this consensus algorithm, and it's to try every possibility and be a little bit lucky. So the advantage of this consensus algorithm is that it scales really well with the size of the network, because you just have to readjust the difficulty, but also nodes can come and go as they want during the consensus, because the nodes are locally computing every possibility for the nonce. So they do not interact with the rest of the network. But the problem is that this consensus algorithm is a race to computational power between nodes, because having a better computational power than the other nodes mean that you will try more possibility, and there will be more chance for you to be selected as the leader. And now the problem for our presentation is, can we create a consensus algorithm that reduce this race between nodes, this race to computational power? And here comes the proof of interaction. So the proof of interaction is also based on the DDoS protection technique, but this one was presented in 2009, so 1 year after the Bitcoin paper. And for this presentation, we will assume that the network N of nodes has a fixed size, and also that every node know every public key of everyone, because it simplified the communication. And in our example, we will be the node U0. So the first step for U0 is to select a random subset S of nodes from N. This subset is randomly generated, and the seed is the signature by U0 of the previous block. Signing the previous block has an advantage, is that every node will have a different seed, because each signature will be different. But also every node can check the seed, because they know if we represent the seed what it was supposed to be from each node. So now that the subset is generated, U0 can begin the proof. And the proof is, the idea of the proof is simple. U0 has to find L signatures in the subset S. So U0 has a block M that you want to add in the ledger, and now the first step is to know the value L. And L is also randomly generated, and the seed of this randomness is the same as the one used for the subset S, so it's S0. Now that the U0 know how many signatures he will need, now the question is which node in the subset S he has to contact. And to do so, he will hash the signature S0 and then do a modulo with the size of the subset, and this will give him an index in the subset S, the index of the node he has to ask for a signature. And so this node will be named U1, and to U1 he send the previous block, the future block, the block that you want to add in the ledger, and the hash value. And this free information will be signed by U1 and sent to U0. When U0 receives this information, it will re-sign the signature from U1. This is to force the message to go through U0 at each iteration, because another idea could be to U1 to directly send the message to U2 if he knows the subset S. It's a different type of proposition, but here we force the message to go through U0 at each iteration, because U0 has to re-sign the signature. Then this signature called S1 prime is hashed, and this hash value is then used to compute the index of the next node, which is U2. And to U2, U0 send the previous block M and the hash value, and this information are signed by U2, and the process is repeated until U0 has the L signatures. So since the hash value is unpredictable, the same index can appear several times, so the same node in the subset S can be contacted several times. Now that the proof is done, U0 can broadcast the proof, the block that you want the future block in the ledger, and the previous block. And he broadcasts this information to the whole network, and with this free information, any node can check if the proof is correct, because in the proof, which is the whole signatures generated during the tour, with this proof you have S0, which is the seed of all the randomness. So the nodes can check if S0 is the signature of the previous block by U0. Then with this he can check if U0 contacted the right node as U1, if U1 signed the right information, and so on for every signatures. And if the proof is correct, then the block is added in the local copy of the ledger. And also to force the cooperation, every node involved in the proof are rewarded. If you sign something in the proof, you get a reward, because otherwise there is no profit from answering to a signature request. But maybe for profit, if a node want to increase its profit, maybe an idea could be to do several tours at the same time. But if we look at how the consensus work, since the L and S are computed with the previous block, you can try to generate 20 block at the same time. Every block will be done in L step with L signatures. So there's no advantage from the current block to try different possibilities, but it could be this behavior could be used to in fact have an edge on the next block. For instance, if I finish my proof and I see that for the next block I have a tour of length 20. I will maybe try to do another block, and maybe with this block I will have a tour of length 5, and I will broadcast this answer, the one with the tour length 5. And but this behavior is quite easily detectable because so we'll, for instance, UX, which is a random node in the subset S, will have a signature request from U0, and it will sign this information. So we'll have the previous block, the block that U0 want to add in the ledger, and the hash value. But then, if you receive another signature request with the same previous block, but a different new block and a different hash value, he knows that U0 tried several blocks in the same time. He tried different proposition. And also, even if U0 do not contact UX with the new block, if U0 is the one who generates the new block, and this block is different from the one that the one presented to UX, he knows that U0 did something wrong, and U0 will get a penalty. But also, the proof of interaction has a protection against the selfish mining attack. The selfish mining attack is an attack present in the proof of work, and it's used to waste the computational power of the network. To do so, the node, when he found the new block, will keep this information for himself, and he will be already trying to generate the new block, while in the meantime the rest of the network will still be looking for a block that is already found. But here in the proof of interaction, you are forced to share the previous block with each step, at each iteration. So if the node does not know the previous block, he will be aware of the previous block. So you are forced to update the ledger of every node, at least the node that you are contacting. So this is why the selfish mining attack is more difficult in the proof of interaction. As a future works for our proposition, we will first try to remove the assumption of the static networks, because for the moment this consensus algorithm only work in a static network. Then we will try to generate a proof of concept to prove the possibility of this proposition, and also it will force us to define the reward system and how the subset S and the tour length L are generated. So as a conclusion, the proof of work is a race to computational power, and with the proof of interaction we try to remove this race by creating a consensus algorithm with a deterministic amount of steps. This consensus algorithm has a protection against the selfish mining attack, but for the moment it only works in a static network. Here are the references used during this presentation, and thanks for watching this video.